Hey guys, Jake Blow here with Stealth Pet Fence. We got a fun one today. We got a good neighbor fence going here. So what we did was right along the driveway there where you see the bright light, we had our wire, but that was on this nice lake home out here in Cormorant, Detroit Lakes. So what we're gonna do though is we got dog sitters next door that watch these dogs a lot. So we're actually gonna tie in and give them both yards, which we can do as long as the landowners are okay with it, and here they are, obviously, because they wanted to be able to have the dogs over without messing around with collars. As you can see here, this is going to be a weatherproof, come right through the driveway. We got about a 1/2 inch cut in the asphalt there so we don't get any problems with ice. And then you can see what our trencher does here. This is just awesome. It's basically it's a big circular saw. So what we've got there is Zeke Man running that circular saw on a PTO drive with a hydraulic motor on it. So it cuts through pretty much anything, and this stuff is pretty hard clay soil right now, bone dry. So what we're gonna do is we're going to include this homeowner's lakeshore and fire pit on the roadside with the dog owners next door. All right, so this is what I was showing you before. We ran that line right here real close to the corner of the garage because the dogs don't really need to go on that side of it. So they wanted access to this fire pit for the dog sitting, because this is where they hang out a lot, at the fire pit. So then we ran the boundary wire down there close to the rocks. And then I'll show you our driveway cut. Everybody wonders how we come through the driveway. Well, it's just a circular saw with a masonry bit. And then you can see that with asphalt, we come through with blackjack after we're done. And then this is the great part about the trencher that we use. We stomp it down with the wheel. It's about a 450, 500 pound trencher. So we stomp it down with the wheel. So, you know, it's not very visible the day that we're here. It's, you know, we don't ruin much landscaping. If you're irrigated, it's unbelievably invisible. I'll actually show you that down in some of the lower ground by the lake here, but this is your finished product. So, you know, a couple of rainfalls and that grass pushes back up through, and I bet you about 10 days you can't even see this anymore if we get another rain or two here. We are so dry in Minnesota though, so dry. All right, so down here is where, if you're irrigated, our trencher, I mean, it almost just looks like somebody went for a walk down here. There's barely anything to it. This is where I pulled up some sand. But then if you look over here in the good turf, we turn the blade going forwards, going the other way, and it just cut a little slit. And we're up and around. And then right here, I'm gonna cut the video just because you're gonna kind of understand what we were doing here. But we were tying into the neighbor's property. So we brought a new line from the transmitter right down this one. So this is our twist line, and we tied in right here. And then going around the cattails back to the boats, that's where we've got our junction boxes. So that is the signal. We put the flags where the signal is, not where the wire is. The wire is actually right on the property boundary. It comes into this junction box, and what that is a junction where a lake frozen loop runs across the front of the yard over to another junction box down there by the dock power. So we flip the switch and that turns off, closing this lake loop for the winter months for frozen water, so the dog can't just run over the line. But for the summer months, it goes from the junction box out into the water and loops all the way around the front of the dock, so that the doggos can just go in and out of the water here on their own, and the owners don't have to take the collars off. So you can see that's why we've got the flags actually dive down right into the cattails, because we brought the line through the cattails with our waders on. And then out in the lake, we've got the wire in a hose conduit, and then it comes all the way over to there. And then in the winter, we just flip 2 switches, one on either side. And then the boundary going back up into the yard is the same, but for the dog in the winter, the line runs right across the curbing, all the way down the rocks, and then over to the junction box by the boats and the SUPs. So that is a wrap for this project. This is Jake Blow with Stealth Pet Fence. Give us a call. We've been serving Lake Country for pushing 10 years now. Been a good ride.